Hey everyone, I'm Tristan and welcome to my workshop. This is the second video in my build series where I show you how to make your own Stormtrooper armor completely out of EVA foam. If you want to make this project, you can get the templates from my Etsy store, which is linked in the video description. But now let's make the lower half of a Stormtrooper armor. After printing out all of your templates and cutting them out, here are all the parts you should have in file number 3. Just like for the rest of the armor, trace all of your parts on the indicated thicknesses of EVA foam, making sure to add the dashed and dotted lines and carefully cut out all of the pieces using an X-Acto knife and a craft knife. The parts that have dotted lines are inward angle cuts, which mean you have to angle your blade towards the part at a 40-degree angle. The dashed lines are the opposite, angle your blade away from the part. The first part to assemble is the cod piece, and you'll need the 3 pieces you see here. Start by heating the 2 bigger parts with your heat gun to form them over a round object. Next, take out your contact cement and glue everything together. When using contact cement, make sure to wear a respirator and work in a well-ventilated area. Simply brush the glue on both parts you want to stick together and wait for the glue to get tacky. After that, push the parts together to create a strong bond. You can start with the detail strip, then move on to the darts on the lower part, and finally attach both parts together. Moving on to the butt plate, you'll need those 2 pieces. Start by transferring those 3 lines to the back of the parts. On the bigger piece, cut on the lines about halfway through the foam. The other piece needs a V-groove. Cut at an angle towards the line, then flip the part 180 degrees and do the same thing. You should be able to peel out a strip of foam and be left with a nice channel. Before gluing the parts together, heat form the bigger piece. Close up the V-groove on the smaller piece and attach it to the other one. And here is the result. Let's move on to the belt. You can start by gluing the circle pieces to the square pieces and then glue them where they go on the belt. Next, those 6 rectangles need to have rounded edges. You can do that with a rotary tool. After a quick heat seal, glue them on the belt. And this looks good. Moving on to the back of the belt, this 2mm piece needs to be reinforced. I just used a piece of heavy-duty duct tape, but nylon webbing would probably be a better option. You can simply glue it to the front of the belt on one side and add a velcro to the other. Those 2 parts need to hang from the belt like this. I rounded them with my rotary tool. Here are all the parts to make the detonator. Start by gluing those detail parts to this panel with super glue. After that, add the 7 parts over the strip detail. You can then glue the panel to the base of the detonator. Now you can heat form the detonator base to make it easier to glue the 2 short sides together just like this. Next, glue the long strips around the round parts to make the end caps of the detonator. Simply glue them on each end, making sure to hide the seam on the back. This is what you should end up with. Here are all the parts from file number 3 finished. I recommend rounding off all of the edges on the parts to give them a more natural look. Moving on to file number 4, after cutting out the templates, tracing them on EVA foam, and cutting out all of the pieces, let's assemble the thighs. This is what we're trying to make. Start by rounding off the edges around these trim pieces, but not the sections that glue to another piece. Once that's done, heat form those 2 pieces and glue everything together, following the letters and registration marks. This is a difficult step, but take it slow and make sure you attach the right edges to each other. And here is the final result. Moving on to the calves, the steps are pretty much the same as for the thighs. Round off the trim pieces, heat form the bigger parts, and carefully assemble everything together. Here's the final result. You can also quickly round off the remaining edges on the thigh and calf pieces. If the thighs are too long to fit you, simply trim some off the top. If they're too wide, remove a strip at the back and glue it back together. Same thing goes for the calves, but I recommend taking material off the bottom instead of the top. And you can remove a strip from the back too. To be able to take on and off the calf pieces, I recommend adding a zipper to the inside face. This is what I did on my Mandalorian armor, Boba Fett armor, and Clone Trooper armor, and it works well for me. We still have 2 parts to make, starting with a small belt for the right thigh piece. All you have to do is to round off the edges of each piece and glue the rectangles on the bigger piece, and this looks good. The final piece goes on the left calf. Round off the bottom of the bigger piece and all of the top piece. Then connect the parts together. Those two lines need to be transferred to the back so that you can make V-grooves there. You can close those channels with contact cement. Finally, glue on these little triangles made from 10mm foam using super glue. With that done, you can glue the belt to the right thigh and the other piece to the left calf. And now the whole armor is finished. And here is the finished armor. Now, of course, I didn't show you how I sealed and painted the armor because that's coming in the next and final video of the series. As I said at the start of the video, if you want to make these projects, the templates are available in my Etsy store, which is linked in the description below. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more cool builds like this one. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.